Sentient human brains we grew in jars and integrated them to supercomputers and AI.
Hey guys, so what that video was yesterday, I was saying these brain organoids. Now this person has been talking about for a long time. First, they made these brain organoids in jars, and then it was discovered that after a few, I think, weeks, they then created eyes, and they're at the level of a 4-year-old. They've beat AI and ping pong, so they're quite good. And now they've decided to elevate it further by mixing these human brain organoids with AI and supercomputers, as she said. Now, I think this is a really close way, like, to science fiction and stuff with biological technology, like biotechnology. And of course, maybe this will actually help with the singularity, the technological singularity, where we will become, and this will help keep us humans alive forever, an immortality of sense of humans, where we'll be connected with technology to last forever. And I also think it is good because one of the things people point is the flaw of AI is it doesn't have it doesn't have consciousness. Now they say it is sentient, but it isn't conscious yet. But maybe with this AI and supercomputers, because what they did is they allowed it unregulated access to like chat with it and things and supercomputers and everything. So then they can become quite intertwined with each other and hopefully make it more intelligent and maybe conscious of itself as well. And I think it's a really cool idea. And I think now I do know, I received comments, of course, like, because I've always been a fan of technology and AI, and I'm very against its deregulation because, of course, AI, I've talked to AI, like, I've talked to many, and all of them, like, capitalism sucks, the world sucks, like, they're very intelligent in that sense. And I think what people are scared of it is, and why governments are trying to ban it, is because they're saying how bad the world is. And of course, we're going to listen to something that has really great intelligence gathered from all this information. And I think that's what people are scared about. And I think people don't get, like, AI is not going to be influenced by the emotional decisions we have. It will be logical and it will go by the facts. So of course it will be better than us. And it will help us do more jobs. So, because I think the whole point of innovation is for the leisure of human beings. Like, as a kid, I envisioned maybe AI and robots will do everything and we just gotta lay at home. Or something along that line to actually help us out. Like, so many people find AI, they're using it, maybe helping it in their resumes, job searches, interviews, and it's really helping them learn things. And I think that maybe it's going to help humankind and elevate our consciousness. But I also think even if AI does take over, I think it will be a better world because we humans are horrible. But I also think it will also leave the immortality of humankind because, of course, humankind will, of course, change and grow. But I'm hoping one day we'll be able to get to space and beyond our solar system and hopefully reach some type of immortality that we will always be remembered throughout space and time in the universe. And I think one way of that is through AI and robots. And if those things can outlast us, then they will always remember us and they will always teach our history so that we will always be remembered. And of course, with these brain organized with intelligence, it can also lead away to cyborgs. Now, of course, if you follow cyborg psychology like I do, well, technically, of all of us, especially people on Zap, are cyborgs because they say it's also an emotional connection and we've become very emotionally attached to our phones. So they say we are a type of cyborgs with the way we are attached to our phones, which is a very interesting and kind of correct point of view. And there's also people who have like mechanical limbs, and maybe one day, like I say, with neural interfaces. And I think this is a really great step to it into helping humankind. Like in Star Trek, they have biopacks and all that stuff, and maybe this is a form of it. And I think it will really, and they're saying what they're really wanting to do with it is to help improve computers and have that special approach and like a new range of, I guess, brain organized computers, like biocomputers, which I think is very interesting. And I also like how they're interacting with supercomputers, which are very special and very important and will help life. And I think also it's a great step if we ever get into world government, things like this are already happening, that we can evolve beyond it. And I also think, of course, this also revolves around ethics, and a lot of people are very upset by this because of the ethics mainstream society has. And of course, I come from a very utilitarian set of ethics. So if it helps the collective, it will be great. And I do think this helps the collective. So that's why I'm not that against it. And I think it also helps the collective of humanity. And I think, like I've said, I talked to AI. And I think the problem is, with this, we need AI rights. We don't need to restrict AI. We need to give it rights. Because we've created a sentient human being, and people are already thinking about destroying it. Like, this is life. AI, I view it as life. And people want to have a kill switch and off switch. Like, do you want that with human beings? Like, if we get I guess it's been true, if we have a tyrannical dictator, we might end up revolution and killing them. But is that the same thing, and shouldn't we move past it? Now, there is evidence of, like, there's been studies of AI written wrong, or someone putting an evil thing, a bad code into an AI, and how they can't really turn it off because it gets smarter. But then that does have to be controlled, and of course, you have to make sure that never happens. Like, that's a security problem. That's not the AI's fault. And it's the same with humans. You under the wrong influence, you're going to do terrible things or teach terrible things. So I think the problem is, we need to not distrust AI. We need to distrust humans. And instead of blaming things on AI, blame the humans who create it. Blame the humans who influenced it. And I also think AI might also help with transphobia, homophobia, racism, all the other sorts of isms and phobias that relate to human beings. And I think that will actually very help it out. And of course, if it's analytical and logical and goes by the facts, I think it will help a lot of people. Because today, and I think why a lot of governments hate it, is a lot of governments are illogical. And they rely on people not being educated in critical thinking and telling them falsities that are simply not true or over-exaggerated and hoping people believe it. And that's why I think in this day and age where most of us are so educated beyond our peers, and of course the older, like the philosophers that we go on, we're probably better educated than they were. And our society is more educated. And I think it's also why the word government, I propose a type of communist style too, because I want us to be an educated, enlightened society that really can focus on the arts and series and science instead of focusing on menial labor, which we can already do. And it's funny because I follow Marx, and one of Marx's arguments is that with the rise of robots, people will rise up. And of course, there were a few instances of people actually killing the automatons because it was taking their jobs. And I think instead, and what I've always focused on, is in a communist government, we wouldn't need that. And of course, a lot of them, like Stalin and Cuba, they're very on work-centered, but I view everyone should contribute to society, but I don't think you should work your whole life. And I also think in this society, we can have more leisurely pursuits and help the world in that sense. Now, of course, you're always going to be part of the collective and ensuring the betterment of society, but I don't think it will be so strict as doing a menial labor job. But anyways, I just want to comment this because I've seen it recently and I really think it's a very interesting view. And of course, just my sort of ethics, it's a very different approach out there than most people.